Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Trap on the Boomer Bust channel, Bears podcast by a Bears fan. I'm your host Terry, and today we're talking about the whole Packers Kyle Fuller situation. And the question we got to ask ourselves is, did the Packers just pull one over us? And what's Ryan Pace's job in all this? So, yes, we can look at the facts. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, yes, I think the Packers just played the Bears. So, the facts are we signed Kyle Fuller to or at least we designated him with a transition tag. And with that transition tag, he's of course able to negotiate with other teams. If he signs an offer, the Bears have a right to match it within a certain amount of days. However, if the Bears don't match it, then the player walks for free to that other team. We get no compensation. Now, if this was a franchise tag, then if Kyle Fuller were to sign this sheet and then walk away to the Packers because we didn't match it, we would in turn receive 2 first-round picks. However, the Bears did not go with the franchise tag, so we would have lost Kyle Fuller for nothing. Now, the Packers, of course, our rival, we all know, but also within our division. So, by signing Kyle Fuller effectively put Bears in a no-win situation, in my opinion. And it's a no-win situation because, again, like I said, if we were not willing to match that offer, then he not only would have walked away for free, but thereby losing one of our starting corners and, frankly, right now, one of our more valuable pieces in the open market. But we would also be losing him to a division rival that we have to play twice a year. So that's already not an option. And then, of course, if we do match it, then we are going to have to commit money to a player that we did not decide to commit money to yet, and thereby having our hand forced, which is what we did. So the Bears, like I said, we matched that offer. And it's 4 years, it's about 18 million guaranteed. Now, I'll be the first to say it right now. The deal is not egregious. It's not like some back-breaking deal, but it's still upsetting that the Bears had to give a player contract that wasn't designed by us. It was designed by somebody else, and they forced our hand to do it. Especially for a player that we don't know what he is. And this is kind of one of my pet peeves, but I've said it before. We're in such a reactionary society, especially in sports. We got articles, wherever you read, they're talking about the Bears star cornerback or their star play. How is he a star? Come on, let's be real. Come on, we talked about this. If this was last year, nobody would have cared. Yes, he played well. We get he played well, but it's too much. It's kind of like when people perform in the Super Bowl and then all of a sudden they get paid a lot of money. It's too reactionary for me. So if people want to consider him a star, fine, but I don't think the Bears should have looked at him that way, and they definitely didn't, which was smart. They definitely wanted to keep him if they could. Who knows what their real plans were for him, but what I do know is that they weren't paying him or ready to pay him like a star. And so the fact that we got forced into that by the Packers, is not a good look. It's absolutely not a good look. So then the question becomes, well, why were we in that situation? And we were in that situation because, Ryan Pace decided to transition tag Kyle Fuller instead of franchise tag him. So then the way it breaks down, people will probably say, well, why would you even use a transition tag? The answer is, a lot of teams don't use the transition tag. You commonly see the franchise tag, it's the non-exclusive one. They have the exclusive one, but people usually use the non-exclusive one because non-exclusive allows them to negotiate. And you're fine with them negotiating because if they find a deal that you aren't willing to pay, then you're going to get 2 first-round picks out of it. And so people want that. You know, they want that compensation if you are to leave. So you'll usually see that. The reason we use transition tag, because the transition tag pays Kyle Fuller the average of the top 10 salaries at his position, whereas the franchise tag pays him the average of the top 5 salaries. So yes, we did that to save money. We absolutely did it to save money. I'm anticipating some people arguing against that, but that's what it was. We did it to save money. And I've heard complaints about the Bears being cheap in the past, and they're misguided. Like the whole AJ Abuye thing. People, I see everywhere talking about how the Bears were cheap and that's why we didn't get them. The Bears offered Abuye more money than the Jags did. He chose the Jags, cause they were a better team. So a lot of that stuff's misguided, but this is a case where it's undeniable. The Bears were being cheap, because even if you felt like I felt that Kyle Fuller was not a premium player, you still had to understand what the value was for him in the market. And so by putting him in that franchise tag, you know that if somebody comes along to look for him, which they were, then you could at least get some compensation if he left. And to throw that away just to pay him less money, that's a little too much, even for me, who's not that sure that he's a long-term solution. And so anyway, Ryan Pace did that to save some money, and now it put him in a bad situation where the Packers were actually pretty genius. I'm sorry I have to say, I'm not one of these people. I don't like the Packers, you know, I definitely root for the Bears and all, but I'm not one of these people that will blindly just knock them at every turn. The Packers did a genius move, because not only if they were able to get him in the transition tag, but think about if it was a non-exclusive tag, and the Packers were able to get him, and the Bears were able to get 2 first-round picks back. It's the Packers' first-round picks. They're not going to be some premium things. Now, getting 2 first-round picks is getting 2 first-round picks, but the Packers expect to be in the playoffs, so you're talking about, you know, down in the 20s. So the Packers knew they weren't risking too much at all if they were to pursue this. Now, throw in the fact it's a transition tag and there's no compensation going back, it was a no-brainer for them. Because, again, even if you didn't believe in Kyle Fuller, you could not lose face like that as a GM by letting your bitter NFC rival take one of your players. And so whether Ryan Pace liked this deal, didn't like this deal, had a similar deal on the table, it don't matter. He had to match it. And that's why they did it with less than a day, because you cannot lose face like that, especially in Chicagoland. I'm not happy with Ryan Pace right now, but we would have ripped him to shreds if the Packers took Kyle Fuller and we got nothing. So absolutely, I think the Bears I don't think we got fleeced, but they pulled one over on Ryan Pace. And I'm not going to go into last year's draft and moving up to get Trubisky and whatnot, but I'm not going to sit here and dig into, you know, what Ryan Pace has done and what he's good at, but what I will say is the perception is not good. Whether you're talking about with some Bears fans, or you're talking about nationally, other fans, whatever, the perception, the optics don't look good. And I don't think anyone could refute that. Even if you think these were good moves or he was good or blah, 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 you cannot tell me that on the surface it doesn't look good. Where, we know what happened with the draft last year, moving up one spot to get a player. And now this time, trying to keep a player that you weren't ready to commit to, and then having the Packers force you into a situation to pay that player. And I'll also admit too, had it not been the Packers, it wouldn't be as bad, but the fact it was the Packers really makes it look bad on the outside. So anyway, yeah, that's me. But I'm sure everybody's got an opinion about it. Go to the comment section. Before that, sorry. So I was getting ready, and I might still do this. I was getting ready to start doing some proposed trades, just kind of what if, have some fun with it. and one of them was Kyle Fuller. But now, he's, one of the value was that he was on a tag. And so, teams could really negotiate their own terms with him. But now that he has a full contract, I still think I might play around with that. You tell me what you think. You think it would be crazy to trade Kyle Fuller? I don't think so. Honestly don't. I mean, to some teams having that, contract would make it even more friendly of a trade. So I still think people look at him as a valuable piece, and he'll stay valuable until we start playing games. So I still think we could make a trade if we wanted to. But, anyway, go to comment section. Let me know what you think about the whole Kyle Fuller situation. Happy we signed him. What do you think Ryan Pace botched this? Go comment, let me know. Thumbs up, subscribe, share it around. And if, remember, stay up and bear down.